The story of Joseph is a great story in the Bible. Toward the end of Genesis, you got the father's favorite son who his brothers are jealous of, and they sell him into slavery. They were going to kill him, but decided to sell him into slavery. He goes down to Egypt, and he's falsely accused of rape, and he's thrown in prison. But all this time, God is with him, and you remember the story. He interprets dreams, and eventually Pharaoh gets him out of prison. He becomes the prime minister of Egypt, and when his family is starving to death, the brothers go to Egypt to buy grain. And you remember, after some back and forth trips, Joseph in effect forgives them and says, God sent me ahead of you to save our family from ruin. And Pharaoh says, bring your family down, and they'll live here among us, and they'll be honored, and it'll be wonderful. And so he says to do that, and he's sending his brothers back to get his father and all their family and bring them down into Egypt. And he says this little thing, it's almost a throwaway line, and I know I must have read it before, but it really struck me. He says, oh, and don't quarrel among yourselves on the journey. Why would you say that? I mean, all this great thing's fixing to happen. You've had this great forgiveness from your brother, and you're going to save your family, and why would you quarrel going back? Well, maybe he knew his brothers. I mean, they've been a little contentious over the years. Or maybe Joseph just knows how much Satan works to destroy God's plans by getting his people to argue with each other. I mean, think about it. How many times relationships flounder because you quarrel all the time? Remember how many times you seem to have fights and fusses, and how many churches flounder because people fight, and you fight over politics, and you fight over how you're going to do things, and one group wants to come in the east door and the other group wants to come in the west door, and even on things that are legitimate disagreements. Why do we have to fight? You see, you don't have to quarrel, but I think that's really good advice in your relationship. Stop it before it starts. In your churches, stop it before it becomes quarreling and fighting. We don't have to fight with each other. So I think Joseph gave really good advice. You know, we're on a hard journey in this world. Let's don't fight about it. Let's get along. This is Steve Ridgell telling you I'm going to do better about not fighting with the people that matter.